Who the fuck is Eli?
Yo, YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Eli So Fly. We're back with another reaction. Today, we are reacting to the most hated cartoon characters ever. I ain't gonna lie. I know Caillou on this list. I ain't gonna lie though. I feel like Caillou get a lot of a lot of hate that he really don't deserve. Let's not act like Caillou wasn't a fire TV show growing up. You know? Is it just me? Is it just me, or do you know? I feel like Caillou get a lot of hate that ain't deserved. Caillou was one of my favorite TV shows growing up. But let me know down in the comments below if you feel like Caillou, you know what I'm saying, deserves his hate or not. Let's get into the video. Leave a like, subscribe, tap into the other channels, tap into the Twitch. Let's go.
This is for lonely children after this. It's only children, DW. A lonely child is what you're gonna be when I sell you.
Hated cartoon characters. I'm sure you can think of a few off the top of your head. Sure, there's always going to be at least one character in any movie or show that you don't vibe
I didn't
with.
watch
Then there's
Steven
the
Universe
ones
for real.
Really get under your skin for some reason.
All right,
Whether
Peter.
it's incredibly
Peter's
annoying or
justified.
actually the devil in disguise.
Yo, is
I know,
that the
man,
new
oh boy,
Fairly
oh joy,
Odd
is there
Parents?
nothing
Fairly
that
Odd
causes
Parents?
heated discussions on the internet more than a hated cartoon character? I know that I'm the guys, can we please calm down? These are cartoons. You have not just witnessed the burning of the Reichstag in real time, guy. But I do miss the era where people would just pop off on cartoon characters they disliked in the most explosive way imaginable. There used to be a ton of videos like it, and they range from actually kind of funny to blatantly out of pocket. Hey, Collider, what the f is this thumbnail? That's not a real frame from the Loud House. This video is 6 years old. She canonically wasn't even 18 yet.
Consistently and ruthlessly point out my shortcomings.
Exactly! She's a slut! A bitch!
Some characters start out being fairly well liked and slowly degrade over time, and some characters just come out the womb for the express
Why did
purpose of
they
being
race swap
insufferable. Either way, I thought
freaking
it'd be
Velma,
cool to
bro?
look into somebody's
I don't know,
guys and
like,
see
who
how
asked
bad
for this,
they really
HBO?
are. And just a
Who
heads
asked for
up,
this?
Scrappy Doo will be absent from this list, I know. Also, this is just a bit of fun. As much as it would be hilarious to channel my own neurodivergence into a rant about why Peter Griffin farting is unfunny, I'd rather leave it to the professionals. Also, I'm sick.
Peter, what are you doing? Crack?
Peter and
What the
Brian?
fuck?
Honestly, every character in Family
Yo, who hated Brian? Who was hating on Brian? Am I tweaking? Last time I checked, I thought they killed off Brian and everybody was freaking raiding in the streets talking about bring Brian back. Who was hating on Brian? Now, Peter, I get it. Peter, I get it. But Brian? To me, Brian was cool. Let's see, though.
The guy is worth putting on this list at this point, given how much they've all fallen off since the show's glory days. But you've definitely heard more people complaining about Peter and Brian compared to any of the others. People f***ing hate Peter Griffin, and it's really not hard to see why. I was watching some of these old cartoon rant videos I was talking about a second ago, and while I won't be playing multiple clips in a row of people screaming into their Sennheiser headsets, I was still taken aback a bit. The general gist of it is that Peter was once a dumb but loving father in the first few seasons, and over time got more and more flanderized into being an actual monster. And while that may sound overdramatic, it honestly isn't. The stuff that Peter does in a newer season of Family Guy is borderline psychotic, as he's the main character they use for the majority of the show's shock humor. So basically anything from abusing his family and friends to killing cats is on the table here. I apologize that a lot of these clips are going to be blurred. I love keeping my money, and Gaussian blur is my best friend. I think a lot more people would be more lenient with Peter's antics being far more sociopathic if they and the show itself were still funny and not going too far. But if you know anything about current day Family Guy, then you know that ship sailed a long time ago. Pretty much nothing is off limits for Family Guy, which was still true back in the days when it was good, but the utter tastelessness of the show's current writing specifically manifests through Peter. Now, Brian, on the other hand, isn't really the face of the show's declining writing like Peter is, nor does he do half of the atrocities that have made Peter such an infamous character. No, people just hate Brian because he's f***ing annoying.
Brian, look out!
That's when they killed off Brian.
Piece for Seth MacFarlane, something completely obnoxious and a flanderization of who he once was. He's just an unpleasant character to hear speak, and they're completely aware of it too. They had an entire segment of an episode where he gets grilled for all of his flaws.
When the hell did that happen? When did Brian hook up with Bonnie? That's gotta be one of the newer episodes. That's gotta be one of the newer episodes. That's not my Brian. That's not my Brian. Yo, what's good, Wendigo? That's not my Brian. Whoever that is, that's not my Brian. That's gotta be one of the newer episodes. I ain't never seen Brian hook up with Bonnie, bruh. When did that happen? When did that happen?
by f***ing Quagmire. He's just an asshole, not even a super psychotic one like Peter. He's just a
But you
dick in
missed
the
not
purest way
much, just
imaginable.
reacting
Like,
right
you
now.
look at Peter and you can kind of see the parts in him that are from the earlier seasons, and he still has those rare moments where he's fun to watch.
Has resulted in the deaths of millions of people throughout history.
You know, I have not talked to Carol all night. Carol, how are you?
But Brian is just blatantly not the same character as he used to be. It's actually shocking how hard he fell off to the point where he's actually hated far more than Peter despite never doing anything nearly as
Gaming
bad
today,
as him.
let's go. Yeah, we gonna try to be Outlast today.
This is a
We
much
only
more
got like
recent
3
example. In
sections
fact, it's
left. I
probably
looked
the
it
newest
up,
character
so
you'll
we gonna
find
try
on
to
this
beat it
list.
today.
But Velma managed to speedrun, becoming one of the most hated
freak?
characters of the 21st century quicker than anyone could have anticipated. Now, obviously, when I say Velma, I don't mean, you know, the actual Velma. I actually did a recent binge of
The
a lot
Black
of Scooby-Doo
Velma.
shows and movies that I either completely
Just
forgot
say it,
about
bro.
or
You can
hadn't
say
seen
it,
in a
bro.
long time.
You can say the Black Velma, bro. It's alright. You can say it, bro. We all hate her, bro. You can say the Black Velma, bro. We get, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta be PC, bro. We already get it. We already know which Velma you talking about. Just say the Black Velma, man. Just say it, bro. Just say it, bro. We already know which one you talking about. Just say it.
Time. And I think I'm at a point where Velma is probably one of my favorite characters ever. Maybe it's just
The
recency
dark
bias hitting
one.
me because finally experiencing
Okay,
how
bro.
good a well-written Velma can be after seeing 2 seasons of this Velma was immensely refreshing. Velma from the TV show Velma is not just a bad Velma, but this Velma specifically barely even resembles Velma. Velma as a show was conceived specifically to make people mad. It doesn't actually believe in anything it does and exists purely to be successful from people grifting off it. And all of the show's worst aspects are crammed into the character of Velma herself. I'll always be disappointed that we finally got an adult Scooby-Doo show, and instead of being genuinely interesting, it just makes me want to rewatch Zombie Island for the 50th time. Everyone in the
Zombie
Scooby-Doo
Island
cast
is
is
fire.
butchered in this show, to be fair, but despite being the underdog of the story, the show really fails to make you root for Velma in any capacity, as she's literally the absolute worst person here. Being completely insufferable in every scene is one thing, but she's just an outright terrible person and deserves nearly all of the shit that gets thrown at her. The problem is that the show, despite being strong in its convictions and motivation to be the most hated show ever by making people really angry, seems to actually have a hard time writing
Dang.
Velma consistently, so you never actually know if you're supposed to root for her or condemn her for the bad things she does. Because they do frame her in a negative light at multiple points, like when she reads Daphne's diary, but then a minute later will treat her like she's still a victim of unjustified bullying by the world around her. It's quite odd. In fact, the highlight of the show
Why'd
for most
she
people
have
was
to
getting
be
to see
black?
Velma in pain at
That's the
multiple
thing,
points.
bro.
She's just
I
completely
don't-
insufferable.
I don't understand race swapping characters just for the sake of. I don't understand it. Why? I am against race swapping characters just for no reason. I'm against it, bro. I feel like we don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's pointless. I don't get it. Like they race swapped Ariel. Why? I don't understand it. I mean, I guess the movie was good. It looked like it got good reviews. I ain't never watched it, but why? Like why? Why did we need a race swap to Ariel? We got black Disney princesses. We didn't need a race swap to Ariel. Then they race swap Velma. Why? I don't know. Why do we need to race swap Velma? And then now they trying to redo holes and freaking race or gender swap freaking Stanley and Zero. Why? I don't understand. I don't understand it. Hollywood, stop what you're doing. Stop touching stuff. Better yet, yeah, just stop touching stuff altogether. Anything that's a classic, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. Come up with an original idea for once. I feel like y'all ain't did that in a long time. Come up with something original. Can we do that? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people aspiring to be a writer and or direct or produce a film that could give y'all plenty of original ideas. So how about y'all get them people a shot instead of trying to touch touch classics and ruin them. Yeah, how about we do that? Yeah, that sounds like a great idea to me. Let's keep it going.
Insufferable.
I spit truth without a filter, like every comedian before #MeToo.
Oh, brother.
God, don't even get me started on the
What
will
the
they won't be
freak?
stuff between her and Daphne. If you want to watch a gay Velma that doesn't make you want to rip your hair out, then Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo is down the corner to the left.
I'm full of sadness.
Steven
Ronaldo.
Universe is such a rock solid
I don't know who
cast,
Ronaldo
quite
is.
literally,
I ain't-
that any outliers, no matter how minor, are really gonna stick with the viewer. Ronaldo is literally just a random side character who shows up at most 3 times a season, and yet he manages to be more hated than Space Hitler. Ronaldo is a conspiracy theorist, off to a flying start, who can be entertaining in moderation, but when he has
Did y'all
too
watch
much
this
screen
show, chat?
time, or
I didn't
God
watch
forbid
this
an
show.
episode's plot revolves around him, then things really start to fall apart. Ronaldo works in moderation because he's a one-dimensional prick and completely full
What
of
show is
himself.
this? Is
So
this
when he's
Craig of
used
the
for a
Creek?
small gag in an episode,
Or is
he
it
can be
Steven
quite funny.
Universe?
However,
I don't know
have
what
no
show
idea
this
why
is.
out of all the residents of Beach City, he seemed to get the most focus next to Lars and Sadie, 2 characters that have far more depth and can actually carry an
little?
episode on their own or with
I was gonna
Steven.
say,
It
I
probably
seen
had
like
something to do with his
I seen
obsession
a
with the crystal
couple
gems and
episodes,
the odd
but
phenomena that happens in Beach
Steven
City.
Universe
I don't know.
wasn't
But
my
it's not
type
a
of show. I'm
coincidence
not
that some
gonna
of the
lie.
most
It wasn't
hated
my type of
episodes
show.
the show tend to revolve around him, and it doesn't really help that all of the other characters in the show can't stand him either, especially the gems. If a character is meant to be annoying to the other characters but is still annoying to the viewers, they're still annoying. And Ronaldo's obsession has also been shown to make him incredibly dangerous. Keep Beach City Weird is pretty infamous for having Ronaldo knock out and kidnap Steven, a child, and even though he didn't know it was Steven at first since Steven was in costume, he was still trying to knock out and kidnap what he believed was an endangered species. And to make matters worse, fast forward all the way to Steven's breakdown in Steven Universe Future, recounting all of his childhood trauma, the scene of Ronaldo
What the
knocking
frick
him
is Steven
unconscious
Universe
is
Future?
featured here.
They made
Ronaldo was
another
so
Steven
obsessed with
Universe?
the paranormal, he knocked out and kidnapped a child and then gave them trauma. And then in Horror Club, he straight up tries to kill Lars because they're no longer friends. Like, holy shit, what the f is wrong with you? I think everyone's tolerance for Ronaldo finally snapped with the episode Rocknaldo from season 4, and it was honestly the perfect storm. The episode was promoted teasing the reveal of a new gem, only for it to be bait, so people watched the episode and realized they were duped into watching Ronaldo be a dipshit for 10 minutes. Ronaldo was already an extremely unpopular character by this point, so many were gonna hate the episode on principle, but it's the fact that the marketing for the episode was an outright deception that really got on most people's nerves. Not to mention, season 4 was already a pretty divisive season due to the sheer quantity of filler episodes, along with the large gaps between new episodes releasing. While this issue isn't a big deal nowadays given you can watch the entire show from start to finish, the waits between episodes back in the day were rough, and to be baited by what was finally looking to be a plot important episode only to be sandblasted by Ronaldo was painful. And I think the Crewniverse took note of this because after Rocknaldo, Ronaldo not only never had an episode where he was central to the
I ain't
plot
gonna lie,
ever
chat,
again,
they
he
losing
just
me. I'm
straight
about
up
to skip this
vanished.
section
He only
of the
showed up a
video.
few more
This
times
nigga-
throughout seasons 4 and 5 with
They
some
yapping
incredibly
about
minor roles
nothing.
before being turned
Chat,
into a
y'all mind if I
background character in
skip
Steven
this?
Universe the movie and Steven Universe Future.
I'm skipping these. I ain't gonna lie. I don't care about
I
this
don't think
character.
there's been a more
I didn't
blatant
watch the show.
example of character flanderization in a cartoon than Patrick Star. Depending on
Patrick?
who you ask, Patrick is either someone's
Who
favorite
hates
SpongeBob character
Patrick?
or the one they absolutely cannot stand. Because a lot of people mostly remember Patrick fondly from SpongeBob's earlier seasons and for good reason. His stupidity wasn't the only thing that made him funny, and when it was used for jokes, they were done in a much more earnest and well-meaning manner because he was portrayed as a pretty chilled out and nice guy. And it also
Patrick
helped
is
that
the
he wasn't
GOAT. That's what
completely
I'm saying.
rock
Like,
bottom
who hate
stupid and
Patrick?
actually had some agency. He just seemed like a nice guy. I'd go get a beer with classic Patrick, or at the very least he'd get a beer and I get a pint of water and we play darts. I don't know. Why am I writing fanfic with me and Patrick? Never mind. The later seasons of SpongeBob are pretty renowned for flanderizing basically every character, but Patrick easily got it the worst. All of his agency and chill were stripped away and his IQ plummeted. The only joke with modern Patrick is told by treating him like the dumbest ape to ever walk the earth and then aiming for the lowest hanging fruit. Again, Patrick used to be dumb, but he still felt like a person. And
They
what definitely
dumbed it
doesn't
down
help
for
is
the-
that with
never
Patrick's
mind, I ain't gonna
newfound
say that.
lobotomy
I ain't
came a
gonna
bunch
say
of
that.
episodes
I
where he
ain't
kind
gonna
of
say
just
that,
became a
bro. I'ma
massive
let him-
dick.
I'ma let
Either
him
his
rock.
stupidity
I'ma let
would be
him rock.
dangerous to the people
I'ma let
around
it
him,
rock.
or his stupidity would be written to allow him to be a dick with no consequence. This is basically a less extreme version of what happened to Peter Griffin in the later seasons of Family Guy. It's just that Patrick is far less sadistic by comparison. There's not a whole lot to add here. I just think it's sad because Patrick at his best is genuinely the funniest part of SpongeBob. Even in the later seasons when he has his moments, he's the best part of the show. I hate that nowadays he's only written as this hyperactive half-wit, and even though I can tolerate the Patrick Star show far more than most people, I still find his characterization there to be pretty hard to watch.
Chloe, Fairly Odd
It
Parents.
makes me very
This that
happy
new
when I talk to
Fairly
the
Odd
average
Parents.
person who watched Fairly Odd Parents as a kid and ask them, hey, do you remember Chloe? And they just stare at me and ask, what the f are you talking about? Because it proves to me that the majority of people who watch the show only remember what it was like before Chloe was shoehorned into it, and that is a life I wish I was currently living. And there's a reason why most people have no idea who this is, and it's because she was added to the show for the sole purpose of increasing its ratings. No one was watching the show when she was added except for die-hard fans, and this wasn't the first ratings trap OddParents had tried. This show was dying for a long ass time, not helped by it also being terrible far longer than it had ever been good.
Yeah, I don't know who Chloe is. I ain't gonna lie, chat. I stopped watching cartoons well before, like,
their presence in A New Wish.
I don't
then there
know.
was Sparky, who
Cause
was
I got rid of cable early,
forgotten about because no one liked
so
him.
I stopped watching cartoons, like,
attempt to stay relevant
you
and
know.
avoid cancellation, and
So a lot of this
ultimately
stuff I don't
wasn't
even
enough
know
as it ended up
about.
being the show's final season.
Like, who the
As a
freak is
character,
this girl?
Chloe isn't even that notable, nor do I really have much of an opinion on her. It's the way she was just tacked onto the show that made everyone hate her. She didn't really have many flaws like Timmy did, as well as having a really piss
I'm not gonna lie, I never liked Fairly Odd Parents.
Then there's all the other stuff, like
Fairly
the
Odd
show's
Parents was
iconic
cool to
theme song
me.
being completely
I could
butchered
watch
with
it.
new
Yeah,
cringeworthy
was it one of my
lyrics all
favorite
about
shows?
Chloe,
No,
along with the
but
intro
I
animation
watch
being
it.
hacked to pieces and served alongside clips of the new episodes, as well as the other well-liked members of the supporting cast basically being absent like Chester and AJ. Chloe felt less like a new addition to the show and more of a hostile takeover of its identity, even if as a character she was far more tolerable than Sparky, and the idea of her and Timmy sharing fairies is much more original than giving Cosmo and Wanda a kid. She is still near universally despised to this day due to how much her inclusion was crammed down people's throats and for also being attached to OddParents' last and most pathetic season.
Johnny Test. Niggas was hating
I keep
Johnny.
getting caught off guard by how many people look back at Johnny Test rather fondly these days. I remember back
Johnny
in the day
Test
this
was
show
fire.
treated like Devil Spawn, though that may have something to do with how overplayed it was on Cartoon Network, not entirely sure. But I just felt like
They did
including
play
Johnny
it a
Test
lot,
here
though.
because even if you like the show, you've probably seen some of the insane hate artwork on DeviantArt and wondered, holy shit, why are you so angry? I don't even think Johnny is that hateable of a character. Like, yeah, he's a little shit, but Jesus Christ. That's the only reason I'm bringing up Johnny Test here, just the artwork in general and like the previous sentiment around him. Even if it's not present
got a
today,
head of
I
fiery
still think
hair
it's
and a
worth
terrace
mentioning. Okay, moving on.
Yes, Dad.
Caillou. There we go.
You little fuck.
There we
My
go.
beef with Caillou is incredibly personal. I'm sure you all know
The
why
big one.
Caillou is hated already. Whiny little beat the shit out of the little. This was the cartoon that got everyone to
Bro, they
collectively
hated
realize that
Caillou for
kids
no
can and
reason,
will
in my
copy what they
opinion,
see
bro.
on television, and an unfortunate consequence of that was people moral policing literally any kid show that prioritized being funny over teaching good morals. So yeah, congrats Caillou, you
Man,
bastard.
I used to
Spoiled
love
ass
Caillou. That's
kid
what I'm
repented
saying.
of
Like,
the
Caillou was a
lawsuit and
fire
sick behavior is
show.
just tolerated and
Why
rewarded.
everybody
If
all
the
of a
only
sudden
exposure
switch
to
on, bro?
Caillou is through the Go Animate videos where the kid just spills juice on the floor and then gets grounded for 3 millennia, then this should be a rather peculiar plot twist. But
Bro.
truthfully, my hatred of Caillou
I forgot about Go Animate. I used Go Animate back in the day in school, bro, to freaking like make projects and junk. I forgot all about that website. He just unlocked a freaking distant memory. I might try to use Go Animate for like a video. That might help me out a lot. And they got free backgrounds on it. Ooh. Ooh, he might have just put me on some game, chat. Imagine if I used Go Animate to animate my videos. That would take a lot of the like busy work out of it. All I gotta do is script write, record the voice lines, and animate it in Go Animate, which I'm not gonna have to do no real drawing. Cause they got the, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, he might have just put me on. He might have just put me on. I ain't gonna lie. I'm at the stream. I'm definitely gonna. I'm gonna see what Go Animate talking about, cause I know they done updated the site since I was in middle school. I know they probably got something crazy on there now. Oh yeah. He might have just put me on something. He might have just put me on. We gonna see what that's
comes
talking
from
about.
the fact that as a kid, I knew many kids who had grown up watching it and demonstrated all the behavioral problems you'd think that would entail, and this behavior would persist as they grew up with me through primary school, and it made interacting with literally any of them feel like a hostage situation. So thank you, Caillou, for making me watch multiple of my classmates develop severe behavioral problems until I was 10 years old, and then they all fucked off to a different secondary school than me. Congratulations, you bold terrorist. Now I know there are a lot of other hated
That's
cartoon
crazy.
characters out there, but I'm kinda trying something new with this video. If you would like to see another video on hated
All
cartoon.
right, that's the end, buddy. We ain't letting you get that off. All right. Yo, that was me reacting to the most hated cartoon characters ever. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these characters on this list, the only two characters on this list that I really feel like Velma and Peter. The other guys, I don't really know about. I don't know about Chloe from Fairly Odd. I don't know about, what's his name, Ronaldo. I don't know about him from Steven Universe. And yeah, Brian, I don't feel like Brian deserves any hate, bro. Brian is the golden child of Family Guy. Stay far away from Brian. Don't ever talk about Brian again. With that being said, leave a like, subscribe, tap into the other channels, man. Let me know, are any of these characters in your top 5 hated cartoon characters list? And with that being said, I'ma holla at y'all in the next one, man.